Imagine the year is somewhere around 600 BC. Babylon isn't just a city, it's the city, the crown jewel of the known world. Its walls are so thick that chariots can race atop them. Its gardens are said to hang in the air like a floating paradise. Its palaces are embroidered with gold and glazed brick, and ruling it all is King Nebuchadnezzar, brilliant, fierce, ambitious. A man whose name echoed from Egypt to the mountains of Persia. At this point, he's unstoppable. Armies march at his word. Nations bend the knee, and yet beneath all that power, something stirs in him, a restlessness, a whisper in his spirit, because as grand as his empire is, Nebuchadnezzar keeps having these dreams. One night he wakes up sweating, trembling. A dream so vivid, so strange, that it feels like the very walls are breathing. He calls for the magicians, astrologers, and wise men of Babylon. They rush in, bowing deeply. He says, "Tell me what I dreamed and what it means." The court freezes. They beg him, "Your Majesty, just tell us the dream, and we will interpret it." But Nebuchadnezzar isn't buying it. He wants truth, not flattery. If they can't tell him the dream itself, how can he trust their explanation? Days of tension pass. The king grows furious. He threatens to execute all the wise men in Babylon, and that's when we meet a young man named Daniel, one of the captives brought from Judah. Daniel prays through the night for mercy, for understanding, and when morning comes, he's given the answer. Standing before the throne, Daniel speaks carefully. No wise man, enchanter, or magician can explain this mystery, but there is a God in heaven who reveals secrets. Then Daniel describes the dream in stunning detail. A massive statue, its head made of gold, its chest and arms of silver, its belly and thighs of bronze, its legs of iron, and its feet a fragile mix of iron and clay. Then a stone, not cut by human hands, strikes the statue. The whole thing crumbles into dust. But that stone grows into a mountain that fills the whole world. Nebuchadnezzar sits frozen, a washing over his face. Daniel explains, "You, O king, are the head of gold. Your kingdom is splendid and strong, but after you, others will rise. In the end, God's kingdom will stand forever." Silence. Then, astonishingly, Nebuchadnezzar bows before Daniel. He doesn't yet fully understand it, but something in him recognizes truth when he hears it, and for a moment his pride gives way to wonder, but not all lessons sink in the first time. Soon after, Nebuchadnezzar builds a gigantic golden statue 90 feet tall and commands everyone to bow down to it. The man who once bowed before truth now wants everyone to bow before him. Crowds gather on the plains of Dura, trumpets blare, officials kneel, but three young men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, stand tall. The king is furious. "Bow down or burn," he warns. Their answer is calm but unstoppable. "O king, we serve our God. He can rescue us, but even if he doesn't, we won't bow to your statue." The furnace roars. Nebuchadnezzar orders it heated 7 times hotter. The soldiers who carry the men near it fall from the heat of the flames. The 3 are thrown inside, and then silence, a breath. The king peers into the furnace. His voice cracks. "Wait, didn't we throw in 3 men? I see 4, and one looks like a son of the gods." The fire hadn't burned them. Their clothes didn't even smell of smoke. Nebuchadnezzar calls them out, shaken to his core. He praises their God, the God who saves. For a time, the king's heart softens, but pride has deep roots. Years pass. Babylon thrives. One evening, Nebuchadnezzar looks out over the city. He sighs, satisfied. "Is this not the great Babylon I have built by my own power and for the glory of my majesty?" The words are barely out of his mouth when a voice from heaven echoes through the halls. "The kingdom has been taken from you." Moments later, confusion floods the king's mind. He's driven away from his own palace. His eyes lose their royal command. His hands tremble. The mighty ruler becomes like a beast living in the fields, eating grass, his hair matted, his nails long. It's more than a tragedy, it's the breaking of a man's pride. Days turn into months, months into years. The king of Babylon, once the conqueror of nations, wanders like an animal. No crown, no throne, no applause, only silence. But sometimes silence is where the soul can finally hear. And one day, Nebuchadnezzar looks up. His voice cracks with humility. "I lifted my eyes to heaven, And my understanding returned to me. He acknowledges what Daniel had told him long ago, that there is a king above all kings, a hand that raises up and brings down. And when Nebuchadnezzar finally recognizes that truth, his sanity and his majesty return. The courtiers gasp as the king walks back through the gates. He looks older, gentler, his crown gleams again, but now it seems lighter on his head. The scrolls record his words, simple, profound, deeply human. He praises the Most High, acknowledging that every kingdom, every breath, every bit of glory ultimately belongs to God. Nebuchadnezzar, the man who once demanded worship, ends his story worshipping the very one he had ignored. So what do we take from the story of Nebuchadnezzar? It isn't just ancient history, it's every heart that's tasted power, success, or pride and then faced the quiet truth that we're not the center of the universe. Nebuchadnezzar's story reminds us that pride builds tall statues that eventually crumble, humility builds hearts that last, and sometimes the greatest victory isn't conquering nations, it's learning to bow before the one who made them all. Thanks so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe. For more content,
Please follow, like, and subscribe for more short, interesting Bible stories like this.